Morning, Bill. Putting the rent in the mailbox?
Morning, Mrs. Castle.
2 weeks overdue, you know.
Well, I'm getting paid Thursday. I expect to raise...
Honestly, I don't know how you get away with going to work dressed like that. You ought to dress decent like everybody else does. And spending all that money on the movies, that's ridiculous. You ought to put some of that into paying your rent. You ought to be taking a course at night school, learning a decent trade. Who does he think he is, Buck Jones?
Billy.
Morning, Mr. Decker.
How are you?
Fine. Running a little bit late this morning.
Yeah, well, that's better than not getting here at all. There, years later, when I was a youngster, they used to unload the cattle and the horses and the government mules and the hogs and the sheep, unload them there and run them out of the north and south divide because there was a law coming there, a 36-hour law, that they had to unload them at a certain... No, I only rode one bronc. And he started to buck, and I jumped off him, and he run into a stone fence and killed himself. But I've ridden a lot. I used to ride every day. You know, you take a Colts 45, you know, or a 44 with a 7.5-inch barrel. I have that Texas-made double Colts. Even Pancho Villa used that type of gun down in Mexico. You know, Wild Bill Hickok, when he went to bed, he always put newspapers in front of the door. You see, you don't have to see a man to hit him. I'm not a good shot because I never shot enough, but if I want to hit a fella in the back of me, if I hurt him, I could hit him. See, I have those famous Schofields and also the famous guns that I can shoot backwards as fast as I can forwards. But you see, when he went into any place where he made his mistake and dead was where he went in and set one down with these fellas with his back to the wall. He always said when Jesse James was killed, you know, in 1882.
You were born while it was all
I was
still
born
happening.
10 years later, but I was born April 11th, 1892. Jesse James was killed April 3rd, 1882, at 1318 Lafayette in St. Joe, Missouri, by Bob Ford. Bob Ford was killed by O'Kelly. O'Kelly was killed by Joe Burnett. Joe Burnett was killed by Bud Thurman. Bud Thurman was killed by Big Jim Courtright. Big Jim Courtright was killed by Luke Short, and Luke Short's the only one that died a natural death. He died south of Wichita, Kansas in 1893. The reason I know that, because my name is Tucker, and Boney Tucker disarmed Luke Short.
My watch doesn't seem to be working.
One thing I told you, Billy, when I gave you this watch, you have to wind it every once in a while.
Hey, Billy, you want to give me a hand here? The boss wants to see you. He's not too happy about you showing up late all the time.
Fired you again.
Yep.
Hey, Bronco.
What can I do for you, son?
Give me a shot of red eye.
Red eye? You got any ID?
Here you go, cowboy.
You're still gonna need some ID, son.
Hey, cowboy, where's your horse? Yeah, what are you, some kind of faggot?
Don't call me a faggot, damn it!
Come on! Give it to me!
What?
I said I've just been in one hell of a fight.
That'll be 26 cents.
Oh. Just me.
Hi. Would you mind standing up? Thank you.
What are you drawing?
Oh, I was sketching you. And, you look so Western and everything. I thought I'd put you in a Western town.
I should probably be wearing my kerchief. It looks a lot more Western.
Okay.
Maybe I should tuck in my boots. I mean, my
Okay.
pants.
Sure. It's fine.
That's nice, but, you know, there are a lot of things in there that are really very authentic.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you know, they're all small, but they mean a lot to cowboys. I mean, like, for instance, you see his gun isn't really low enough. John Wayne always wears his gun low so that he can hit it with his thumb.
Oh, yeah?
If you've seen his films, you can tell. And, in fact, all of them, Gary Cooper always wore it. He didn't wear it as low as John Wayne. But that's just one thing. And then the saddle over here doesn't have a flank strap. They got to have a flank strap. Flank strap, so that when they rope a calf, it won't pull up the back of the saddle.
How do you know so much about horses? You have a horse?
Well, not all cowboys have their own horses. You see, some cowboys can't afford their own horses, and they just travel around to different cow outfits with their own saddles. Some don't even have their own saddles.
Come on, cowboys have their own horses.
Well, no, not all of them. Sure, some of them do, but I remember a film with John Wayne where he just walked around. He didn't have his own horse or even his own saddle, and he had to borrow the outfits. They had it. They would have
Listen, this is finished. Do you like it?
Well, if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. But it could be a lot more authentic because, well, you know, I imagine you haven't done this sort of thing before. But if I just had my own hat, I could show you, you know, the type of hat that they wore. It wasn't quite like this. John Wayne always wears a taller hat, you know. That looks like a dude's hat. And he had more of a curve to it. And John Wayne, he always wore a different hat, every single movie, and it was always authentic. You should pay attention to his hats because Cooper always had a good hat. And sometimes it was... You know, John Wayne always has the same hat every movie, but you know, it's a good hat. But Cooper's hat was always different. I remember in a film, and Along Came Jones, he had the best hat. It was.
I'll see you later. Okay?
Whether you call them movies, films, cinema, or the flicks, Motion pictures come in two sizes, long and short.
And sometimes the short ones cast a bigger shadow than the long ones.
The nominations for live-action short subjects are The Resurrection of Broncho Billy, John Longnecker, producer.
Shut Up, I'm Crying, Robert Siegler, producer.
Sticky My Fingers, Fleet My Feet, John Hancock, producer, co-produced by Kit Clark and Sanford Evans. And the winner is... The winner is The Resurrection of Broncho Billy, John Longnecker.
Sally Kellerman to boot.
Hi, John.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, John.
I think our cast was marvelous, especially Johnny Crawford and Kristen Nelson, who I can see right now. It's really a Johnny Crawford picture. He really brought the character to life. And for the filmmakers, we're all very grateful. Jim Rokos, Nick Castle, and John Carpenter. Right now, I don't feel too bad about getting a B for this picture, but no hard feelings, Dr. Cannon.
All right. I'd like to give some credit to John Longnecker, who functioned as producer, post-production manager, sound man, kind of did a little bit of everything. John has enormous energy, and a lot of credit to John. Credit to Professor Mel Sloan, who's faculty advisor, and he's making out well. And on behalf of the University of Southern California, the Department of Cinema, I'm grateful to the Academy. You started us 43 years ago. You continue to help us, and thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Is this for Mike?